What's up everybody? Welcome back to another tutorial. My name is Beav Brodie, and in the past few videos we've gone over creating a Facebook page, creating a Facebook pixel. We've talked about product photos and all kinds of stuff. So if you haven't watched those yet, check out the link above here. I'll put it somewhere. Go back and watch some of those. Make sure that you've got everything in place before you start running ads and running traffic to your website so that you can capitalize on it the best possible way. But assuming you've gone through your website, you feel really good about it, you've got product photos are looking really good, so people can really see what they're looking at buying and stuff like that, because they can't touch it and feel it, so you have to really give them a good visual representation of that. Product videos are really good, things like that. So and then your checkout process, making sure that that's in place, and we'll do some other videos around all that stuff coming up. So make sure you subscribe to the channel to check out all those kinds of videos that we'll be doing, talking about all this e-commerce stuff in the near future. So let's jump on these computers and let's go through the process of starting and creating your first ad, and walking through what each thing is and how the ad campaigns work and what's what, so we can start sending some real traffic to your website. Okay, the first thing you're going to do is log into your Facebook page, just like the last videos. You're going to go up here to the top right corner. You're going to click the drop down menu. You're going to go down to Manage Ads. When you click on that, if you haven't opened a ad account page before, or if you haven't started an ad before, rather, we went to this page before and we created the pixel, but if you haven't started an ad before, it's going to take you directly to the page that you're looking at here. If you have done an ad before, it's going to look similar to this, and what you're going to want to do is click Create Ad. That will give you a window that looks like this. There's different levels in what your objective can be when you create the ad. So it can be awareness, consideration, and conversion. These are kind of, Facebook puts people in different buckets, if you will, in the way they categorize and profile people on Facebook. So brand awareness and reach is really going to hit your scrollers. It's going to get as many eyeballs as possible to see it. It's usually pretty inexpensive way to deliver your brand to people, but that's really like scrollers, more or less. When you go to the consideration bucket of people, that's traffic, engagement, app installs, video views, lead generation, and messages. That middle category of people, they really profile those as clickers. So people who are likely to click on an ad, go to a website, to hit like or comment on something, or they're installing apps, or all these different things. Those people are considered clickers. And then conversion, when you have conversions, catalog sales, store visits, those are you're trying to get specifically people to come to your store and buy something, and those people that they have profiled as buyers. Those are people that have a history of buying things online, buying through Facebook, clicking on certain things, and completing a conversion that somebody's after. So keep that in mind throughout this process, that there's some things that you want just cheap delivery to a ton of people at the top of a funnel, and there's some things that you want to make sure that you get the best possible outcome, and you're getting in front of buyers per se. Everybody has a different profile, I guess, if you will, clearly, but the way Facebook profiles each individual person, the cost to get in one person's feed over another person's feed can vary, so you end up with the average click cost and things like that. We're getting super deep. You guys don't need to worry about all that quite yet, but keep a lot of that in mind as we go through this and through the coming videos. So let's talk today about traffic. What we're going to do is a traffic ad, meaning you want to get this in front of the most relevant people you can and get them to click on that ad and go to your website. So the first thing we're going to do is click on traffic. That's going to come down here. You're going to name this campaign. I'm going to call it Traffic Test. Something bit my leg, and it's like totally not what it looks like. My leg's itchy. Traffic Test. So we'll go up here, and I'm going to call this, you can call it really whatever you want, but for the sake of this, get out of here, pop-ups. I'm going to call it February 2018 traffic. We're going to send people, why is this clicking on things? To your website. Now this is where you can start creating your audience, and if you really like the audience, you can save it, and we'll go through and create some other custom audiences in the next couple of videos, and I'll show you how to do that. But what you want to do in this particular case, we haven't created a custom audience yet, so we're going to say people that live in the United States, and you can narrow this down by state or region or zip code or city or whatever you want to do if it's a local thing. I'm just going to leave it on United States. We're going to talk kind of some generalities here, let you guys really focus on what you guys are up to. The next area down, you'll see age range. So, you know, your target demographic. A lot of times they split those, well, they always split these up to like 18 to 24, and then 25 to 34, and then 35 to 44, and then 45 to 65 plus or something like that, those brackets. So when you start looking at demographics, those are the kind of the brackets you're going to see. But let's say for this sake, this example, we're going to say we've got 20 to, I don't even know what we're going to be selling in this example, but we're going to sell something really cool to some really cool people. And they're going to be 20 to 40-year-old men and women in the US. The detail targeting, now this is where it gets really cool and where you guys can really hone this down. You'll see it here at the top right. It's going to reach, the potential reach for 20 to 40-year-old people in the United States is 120 million people. That's far too many people. So we want to narrow that down. So in this example, we're going to sell like, I don't know, 80s retro t-shirts or something, whatever. So the detailed targeting, this is where you want to try to get very specific and go pretty narrow but not too narrow. And still have a decent sized audience that you can start to get your message to. So in this, you can browse it if you want to, and you can look at different demographics, education level. Let's say we want somebody that has, like, really this doesn't matter, but let's just do it for the sake of doing it. An associate's degree, I don't know. You can go through and pick things like that. And you can browse through this and look, guys, it gets super detailed. Like, it's crazy. Like, oh, I want to target people that just make a bunch of money and they're interested in this. Cool. And you can be interested in and this, and this, and this, and this. Or you can narrow it down that they have to be interested in this and they have to be interested in this. Not just necessarily all of that very broad. So that's where you can exclude people and narrow this audience. So we'll go through a few of these so you can kind of get an idea of what I'm talking about. I'm going to remove that college degree thing. We're going to say people, and you can punch things in and it'll auto-populate some stuff to see. You can kind of see what might be relevant. Just totally 80s. Let's see what else they have. 80s TV shows. Maybe we're selling some 80s TV show shirts. Oh yeah, that was a good one. 80stees.com. Actually know that guy. So you know, if there's a page or a business that has a big enough audience, you can target that business's page if they have a similar demographic. So keep that in mind. You can get pretty tricky on that. So you can see now that we've narrowed this down to 930,000 people, which is kind of a smaller audience than I would like to see on a top of the funnel, like just brand awareness, sort of like getting the message out initially to people. But you see where I'm going with this, right? And then you can exclude people. Say let's exclude. I say exclude millennials, but that's going to really screw us up because of the age bracket here. But anyways, again, you guys are getting at the idea here. So you can exclude certain kinds of people, people that you know that might like really hate a particular 80s shirt. I'll show examples later of how to create an audience of people who have actually purchased, and then you can exclude those people there. So you can say, I want to target all these people, but I want to exclude people who've already purchased, because if they've already purchased, you already have their information, you can email market to them, You can always get back in front of them very easily. Sometimes you want to run ads to people that have already purchased on Facebook, but it costs money. Once you already have their information and their email address and all that data, you don't necessarily always want to run Facebook ads to them. So that's where you would exclude those kinds of people. Again, you can narrow this audience up here too and say, I want people that are interested in all of those things and 80s music. That one's super narrow. We just got down to 54,000 people. So you can see how broad or narrow you can get with the ads themselves. If you're like, man, this is the jam, this is the audience, I want to keep this, I don't want to have to do all this again, you can hit save this audience. It'll let you create a name for it. We're going to say 80s, whatever. You hit save. It's going to save that audience. Then next time you come here, instead of creating a new audience, you would hit use the saved audience. You'd select that audience and everything is already there. From here, you would select a budget. Now this may vary depending on how much you can afford to spend, or you'll look at the estimated daily results up here in the top right, and I'll change this and I'm going to say $100 a day, and you'll see where this estimated daily results just jumped up to potentially 22,000 people, which means, you know, in the course of a couple of days, I could reach all 54,000 people. Now, if I was spending $10 a day, it's only going to reach 1,200 to 3,000 people, which means it's going to take a longer period of time to reach those 54,000 people. And it'll show you potential link clicks and things like that. So I always tell people when they're like, oh, I don't want to spend $5 or $10 a day, and that's fine, but know that small budgets get you small results. So I tend to say spend as much as you can afford on ads without getting super crazy. I think if you're just starting out and you're unsure, if you guys can spend $30 to $60 a day, you can get some good results out of that. On up to, I mean, we manage accounts and deal with stuff, and we're spending, you know, tens and tens of thousands of dollars a month on Facebook ads. So, you know, you can scale up with it, but if you're spending that kind of money, that generally it's returning you a bunch of money, and it's worth spending the money. Okay, so that's the budget. Optimized ad delivery, you know, generally this is pretty defaulted to a pretty good way, so you don't really have to mess with this much. So we want to go to link clicks, and you'll hit continue. Again, you'll name this, there's different tiers, so it goes campaign, ad set, ad, and you can kind of see that here on the left hand side, and you'll see that within the ads manager. Once we create this, we can talk more about that in coming videos when it starts to get a little bit more complex. And we'll say this is for 80s tees ad name. You know, you'll select the Facebook page that is associated, that you made. It should just be on yours. I manage a bunch of different stuff, so I've got a huge selection here. But you make sure that your Facebook page is selected. Make sure that that is linked with your Instagram account if you have Instagram. If you don't have Instagram, stop this video right now. Go to your phone, go to Instagram, create an Instagram account, and link it with this, and then go back here and select it. Very important. And then this is where you're going to choose what kind of format of content you want to display in your ad. So a carousel, this first one is the ones that you see that are several square images. You can kind of scroll through and kind of like shop different things with text on it. There's buttons on each one, and you can change the text on each picture, blah, blah, blah. That's a carousel ad. Single image, single video, slideshow, collection. Guys, this is totally up to you. I'm not saying any one of these works better than another. I'm saying that different ads work different for different people. So I've got some clients that carousel ads crush it, and others it doesn't do anything for. So you guys are gonna have to play with this. You're gonna have to see what works best for you. Please do not get romantic about what you like the most, because that may not necessarily be what your customers like. So I think I would go with your gut instinct and try what you like first the most and what you resonate with. And then if that doesn't work, don't get upset. Just try something else. And if you don't think that that's working, or you just want to try something else to see if it works any better than the other one, by all means. But give it a week or two before you switch it up, and you'll start to get an idea of what's working better than another, and I'll show you how to gauge that and things like that too. So we'll just say we're going to do a single image. We're going to browse the library. I'm going to select something random that I've got here, like, yeah, I took this picture today, sure. Picture of a gun and a diaper bag. You want to frame it up, you can crop it. This style, anyways, make sure the proportions. Facebook's super weird about proportions. So carousel stuff has to be square. Single images have to be like super wide and things like that. So make sure you choose an image that fits that format really well. So this picture has nothing to do with an 80s t-shirt, but I don't think you're holding that against me. So your website, you'll want to type in your website. In this case, I just selected one that was already in here, which is tacticalbabygear.com, my website. And that will auto-generate some stuff in the text. I don't ever like that stuff. So you'll want to type in like whatever you want to put in here. I tend to try to keep it short and sweet. You can test it with, you know, like 4-word things like the best 80s tees you've ever seen. That's an example of like, it's the worst copy ever, but a good example of like something that's really short, one line, easy to read, easy to digest. You guys gotta remember that when you're choosing images and you're choosing your copy, excuse me, that you've only got like half a second to get them to stop scrolling, because they're scrolling through like 400 miles an hour. You want to get their attention with the image, typically get them to stop scrolling, and then you've got their attention for like 3 seconds, 4 seconds, and you want them to be able to read whatever that is, consume it, get the message, and let them like in that split second make a decision whether they want to continue on and like, are they more interested in this and they want to hit the button and go to your website, or are you going to give them big long paragraphs of stuff to read, and maybe the story's so compelling they want to read it. Sometimes that works, sometimes it doesn't. So you have to play with it. It depends on the story. I think it depends on the context of when you're showing them the ad. Personally, I don't think that like the first time exposing somebody to your ad is the best place for like a big long paragraph story. I would just like short, sweet, simple, let them see exactly what your brand message is all about, like really quickly and easily, and try to get them to click to your website so that they can really get a better idea of who you are and what it is. So 80s retro 80s t-shirts. So the headline, that's going to be this big bold text down here in the bottom right, and then link description. Let's say I don't know, I'm just going to type something here so you can see where that shows up, and that's going to show up down at the, oh, that's the link. You can change what that URL shows at the bottom down here. So if you wanted to change what that said, you can do that. News link description is the one that shows up just above that in the middle. Again, the interface for the ads campaign builder is like the worst thing ever. And you know, something catchy in here, so I just put test text here, and you'll see that show up down here at the very, you know, in the middle of at the bottom. And that, you know, it could be something about the number of reviews you've had, or you know, it could say, you know, $25 free shipping. Like, I don't know, whatever you think is going to be a good selling point, something that's going to catch them, draw them in, get them to click, come to the website. Don't lie to them, be honest, but you know, really give it something there that's going to be compelling. Up here, the call to action, you can change what this button says. You really want to try to tell people what to do, because sometimes they're in the middle of like deciding whether they should make a decision or not, or sometimes you just need to tell them like, click the button, do this, share this post, da 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 da, and people will do it. So keep that in mind. Don't try to overthink that too much. You know, with being super weird about it. Just get straight to the point. Tell them what you want to do. Don't waste any time. And then that's it. And then you would hit confirm. It's going to tell you it's been confirmed, and it's going to be in review, and I want you to see what that's going to look like. So now in your ads manager, you're going to see your one line here for that ad you just created. And for some of you who've played with the ads before, you've already seen this, and you'll see what it looks like, and you'll have several lines of different ads, but it'll say pending review. And it could say that for like 5 minutes. It could say that for 24 hours. It's going to get reviewed. If it's a brand new ad account, it's very likely that it's going to be in review for a little while, because they're probably going to manually check it. I don't know. But then it'll say approved. And then after a few hours, you'll start to see some results and all that kind of stuff. So, and we'll go through in another video, like all the different data, some of the different results, what things mean, what they don't mean, what you need to be paying attention to, what doesn't matter, all that kind of stuff. So I'm super excited. Congratulations. You are now able to effectively run ads to your website, and hopefully you've watched the other videos. You've got the pixel in place, so now as people go to the website, we can retarget them with other ads, get them to come back. Don't expect people to start buying off of this one ad. Please know that, because most people do not buy on a first impression. It's going to take 7 to 15 impressions of your brand or that product before somebody's willing to make that purchase and give you their money. So the next part of these series is going to be talking about retargeting and creating audiences for the retargeting, and creating audiences to exclude people who've purchased, and all that kind of stuff. So again, subscribe to the channel so that you can follow along with the rest of the tutorials. We're going to start getting really super deep now. We just, these first few videos have been very, very beginner, and I understand that. I just wanted to make sure that everybody's starting on the same page and has the same base foundation, so that as we talk about things in the future, you guys aren't like, what the hell is this dude talking about? Everyone's going to know what's going on. So go back and watch some of those past videos if you haven't already. Subscribe to the channel so you can follow along with the future videos. Hit that thumbs up button. I hope you got something out of this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.